Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters and the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and we're coming at you today with a tribute to one of fly fishing's and fly tying's greatest of all time. You know, it's a very sad story that back on November 1st, the fly fishing industry lost the great Bob Popovics. And if you aren't familiar, Bob was a legendary saltwater fly angler from New Jersey. He was very well known for striped bass fishing, but did all kinds of fishing. And not only was he a great fly angler, but there's a lot of people that will tell you that he was probably one of the most influential fly tiers of all time. You know, I know that several people that work here regard him as the greatest of all time. Just an innovator. He developed working with epoxies. He developed the hollow tie that has become so popular, and he inspired so many, and just can't say enough. But Bob was unfortunately hit by a car in late September and passed away last November 1st. We're a little late in getting around to this, but just really thought it was fitting to pay a little bit of a tribute. Now, in all fairness, I only met Bob a couple of times at the Fly Tackle Dealer show. Maybe it was a show in New Jersey I went to one time. But he definitely had an impact on my life and an impact on many that I'm close to. I mean, Flip Pallet was very close friends with him. Lefty Cray, for example, Lefty called him the greatest saltwater fly tyer of all time. And he influenced so many people, Jay Nichols, Ed Jaworski, and of course, our very dear friend, Blaine Chocolate. Blaine and Bob were very close, and he really helped and inspired Blaine to become the fly tyer and the innovator that Blaine is today. You know, I did meet Bob, and he was always very gracious, always very friendly, and always willing to share. It was kind of a cool story. He owned a restaurant in New Jersey. Was also retired from the Marines, U.S. Marines, and just a heck of a nice guy. I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, Flip Pallet and I were sitting around in his driveway and kind of scheming on, you know, we teach these schools together. And so we had this idea to start doing some saltwater or some fly tying schools down in Florida as well, kind of in the off season. And Flip said, hey, we got to get Popovics. So he literally dialed Popovics up on the phone and put him on speakerphone. And we had a good old conversation, although he declined to come to Florida. Just said that he was not thrilled about getting on an airplane and not thrilled about traveling anymore these days. I believe Bob was 75, which these days is not all that old, but it was a very unfortunate accident that tragically took his life. Again, November 1st of 2024. But I wanted to just read a couple of things, some excerpts from Fly Fisherman magazine real quick. And Jay Nichols says, there's no other way to describe Bob Popovics other than to say he's the most inspirational and innovative saltwater fly tyer of all time. And that was Ross Purnell, forgive me. That was Ross Purnell. And more than 20 years ago, he pioneered the use of epoxy and silicone in tying bait fish imitations. And with Ed Jaworski, published the book Pop Flies in 2001, which, by the way, is an absolute must-read, must-have for any fly tyer, much less a saltwater fly tyer. Then he later moved on to light-cured acrylics and became a specialist in using bucktail to effectively tie giant lifelike baitfish imitations that don't carry water and are easy to cast. He described his most recent revelations on materials and design techniques with author J. Nichols in Fly Design, which was published in 2016. Again, an absolute must-have book for any fly tyer. I mean, this book is just the hollow tying parts of this book alone are absolutely revolutionary, and I'm sure a lot of this stuff led Blaine to develop some of the larger musky type flies. But I mean, Popovics revolutionized fly design. I mean, there's no question, and allowed us to create giant, realistic looking bait fish imitations that not only work in the saltwater, but for pike, for muskie, the list just goes on and on. And you can just open this book and you can see the inspiration and see where Blaine chocolate came from. I mean, really, and that is not a dig, and Blaine would tell you the same thing. In fact, here's what Blaine had to say after Bob's death. "It's hard for me to capture in words what Bob meant to me as a fly fishing icon, mentor, inspiration, and friend. He was bigger than life," said Blaine. "Bob is the greatest fly tying innovator and ambassador of all time. He always had time for everyone and shared his knowledge with anyone who asked. He cared deeply about people, the world of fly fishing, and fly tying history. He always wanted the history of the sport to be remembered and those that came before and their work not forgotten. Thank you, Bob, for having such broad shoulders for the rest of us to stand on. You left us with an incredible body of work to follow and push forward. You left the sport in a better place, and I am so grateful for your friendship." Again, from our dear friend and one of the greatest fly tyers of all time, Blaine Chocolate. So friends, yeah, it just seems like, we do more and more of these. Unfortunately, that's all a part of life, but there's no question that Bob Popovics was an icon in the sport of fly fishing, and certainly one of the greatest, if not the greatest, certainly the greatest saltwater fly tyer of all time, as Lefty Cray said. So, and if you're not familiar with these books, Pop Flies and Fly Design, pick up a copy of each. You must have these. And let's carry Bob Popovics' traditions and his flies forward, and let's learn from it and make new stuff. That's what he would have wanted. So, as Lefty Cray always said, tradition is great as long as it doesn't get in the way of innovation. So, Bob, again, even though we weren't close friends, I felt like I knew you. You definitely had an impact on my life. You had an impact on the lives of so many around me. And this world is a lesser place without you here on the planet. So I hope you're out there tying flies somewhere. And we're going to keep pushing, keep talking, and keep your memory and keep your innovations alive in the world here as long as we're around. So thanks for watching this, friends. As always, sorry to bring bad news. I'm sure most of you knew this already, but if you didn't, we lost one of the great ones, November 1st, 2024. So thanks as always for being here. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That really helps us out. It's free. Hit the like button and stay tuned. We've got a lot more fly fishing content coming your way.